came across this bakery known as Creambee. That's Crembee. Whenever you have that why clear in your mind, so the how and what automatically aligns. That hits more than caffeine in the morning. We do have clashes of opinion back to back. My relatives are super loving, super supportive. And you attract what you are. Ghosting is a bad karma. Don't do it. 11 a.m. in the morning, go to my college by 12:30. My college was 20 kilometers away, far. So, used to take a lot of traveling time, especially in Delhi. So then my college used to be like, the shift used to be over by 5 p.m. I have to come home by 6. My cab was waiting for me already, will be waiting for me around 6:30. And then my shift starts at 9, because from my home to Gurgaon is 40 kilometers, where the office I was working in. Then the office used to start at 9. The shift used to end at 6:30. I used to be home by 7:30 a.m. in the morning, sleep for 4 hours, 11 a.m. back to my college.
3, 2, 1. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined.
And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work.
Courage is not doing things in the absence of fear. Courage is doing things despite the fear.
Growth comes from consistent action.
And you're realizing, hey, I'm not the only one with these problems.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the BYOB podcast. I'm very excited to be speaking with the wonderful Ankita today, one of the co-founders of Trendy. Ankita, thanks so much for making the time.
Thank you so much, Ashit, for having me. And I am super excited for it, I would say.
I'm really excited as well. I think one of the first things we should talk about is how I have unfortunately not been with you on this journey of bringing my own booze to today's call, which you mentioned before the call that you're disappointed about. So why don't you tell us what you brought with you today and why you brought it?
I think I'll start with Red Bull, which will give me, that would give me a great start to the energy I am kind of having. It aside of being complimenting with it.
Sure.
But I am seriously very disappointed how you're starting with hot water.
Listeners of this podcast know that about 80% of the time I have a cold. So I keep wanting to have drinks and I keep having to end up with like a warm drink. Every now and then I put some brandy in there so I feel a bit better. But today I've just gone with hot water. So I'm very sorry, but I promise to keep up with your energy even though you're having Red Bull today. Okay, so that's a deal at least. First thing I wanted to, understand is why don't you tell us a little bit about Trenbee, why you started what you've started. I'm really interested in the why behind Trenbee. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got into this space?
So first of all, I really like the how you have used the word why, because long back in 2017 or 2018, I came across this amazing book by Simon Sinek about start with the why, and that is which is kind of a very differentiating factor for all the businesses that are standing in the market. When you talk about tech giants like Apple, Starbucks, and Walmart and everything, so the why is very important. So we kind of wanted to have a distinguishing factor. So over the period, I realized that the trends in the market are very straight, very linear. So there are very less experimentation with the kind of clothing, and then what celebrities wear are considered, before even starting Trendy, whatever celebrities used to wear, it used to be considered as a good outfit, but nobody had an idea in their mind that those outfits are accessible. Like, you can also get them. It's just not that you're seeing something on the celebrity just for the sake that it is looking good. You can access them, you can wear them. So it kind of hit me in that direction. Why don't we just go to create something very different from whatever the trends are in the market? And then that's the journey is all about it. So this is my why. And my why is like, even if my logo says be the trend, so whatever is in trending is on Trendy. I mean, we try to create it.
Is that, I'm guessing that's how the name came to be as well. I'm always interested in how people come up with their business names. So how did you end up, can you walk us through the process of how you ended up with Trenbee as the name of the business?
Sure, it was a very funny thing to know. So me and my business partner Yash, we had certain criteria. So he is very amazing in SEO and all these things. with the technical
Right.
things. So we were we took 3 days to come up with the name, because we wanted something that should be 7 letters, should be a .com domain. And since we were building a brand from scratch, that means we were not having that much of capital. So we wanted to purchase a domain which we
Yeah.
can actually afford, because a 7 letter
Sure.
.com domain goes up in lakhs these days.
Right.
So we have jotted we back then we jotted out around 500 names, some Urdu combinations, some mix and match combinations. And then funny thing happened. I was going home, and in the I'm on my way back to home. I came across this bakery known as Cream Bee. That's CREMBEE. And I was like, okay, it could be Style Bee, it could be Trend Bee, it could be Trend Bee. And I kept on doing this mix and match kind of juggling with things. And then we landed upon this domain, and luckily it was very affordable to purchase, and I think we were the first one to come across this. I mean, that was a funny story behind it. Yeah. So when
Yeah.
I discussed it the next day with my business partner, I said, "See, Yash, I came across this cream bee on my way back, and we can create something like style bee, trend bee, and everything." And then trend bee is a 7 letter word, and the .com was available, and we were like,
Huh.
"Okay, that's the eureka moment that happened."
Nice. I love that. It's so interesting that when we look back on it, we think about the lucky part of you seeing this. But actually, what happened is you spent 3 days, you had 500 names, and there's so much preparation that led to that piece of luck where you saw this and you came up with
Right.
it. So
Right.
that's
Yeah.
the way you've come up with the name is actually really smart, because most of us, at least the process I know a lot of people follow, is you think about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then you think about what inspirations you've had, and you come up with the name. And then once you nail down the name and the logo and stuff like that, then people start going and saying, okay, now I have to think about website, right? And so the domain name, you find out, okay, only .in is available. I have to change my Instagram name a little bit. What I find really interesting is you decided that that is a clear criteria for coming up with the name. Is that because of your business partners like SEO expertise? Is that where that came from, or y'all always knew from the start that .com and 7 letters is the most important bit for you?
I would just say this: it's the all the credits of it should go to Yash. Definitely, I was taking care of the social media, part of this journey. So I am taking care of the social media part of this journey. So all these SEO related things, the 7 letter jargon, the .com, was his criteria. He's like, no, Ankita, we have to be very particular about it since the very beginning, because we cannot change it once we have created a brand. So
Right.
one day you cannot just appear like, and you have changed, you have redirected your site to another domain because of the availability. So that was
Yeah.
definitely the credit should be given to him. And then meanwhile, every time we were coming up with those 500 names that we decided, I kept on checking them over the Instagram, trying to create a handle for it. And I think I've created some handles for the Urdu words as well, but it kind of didn't resonate with the brand we are creating, because we are a Western wear brand, and Urdu
Sure.
words doesn't justify the gist of what we are trying. So as you said in the beginning, the why. So whenever you have that why clear in your mind, so the
Mm,
how and what automatically aligns. So I had the
sure.
why very clear since the beginning, and which kind
Mm.
of helped me to align the how and the what in all the segments.
We've already talked a little bit about, how you and Yash together have started this business. And so, one of the things I am always interested in when I'm speaking to co founders is I'm always interested in how you became co-founders. So can you walk me through the journey of, if I'm not mistaken, you met Yash at college. So how do you go from meeting someone at college, becoming a friend, to suddenly becoming a business partner? Like, can you talk us through that process? How you went from meeting him to deciding to become business partners and how you formalized it?
Yeah, so I would say selecting a right business partner is a very crucial thing about your business, because it in the very beginning everybody is very enthusiastic while starting a brand. So they kind of are in the sync with the same energy and the passion in the very beginning. But when things start actually getting tricky, it generally happens the one who is not passionate and doesn't share the same kind of vision, looks at things the way I'm looking. So me and Yash, we are each other's motivators, as well as, we keep on inspiring each other, we keep on motivating each other. There are days when I don't feel like working, and I see Yash giving an all-nighter in like 12 hours, 13 hours, doing some research, doing some work. And the morning I wake up and I say, oh, he has slept 10 a.m. in the morning. I mean, he's been working since 10 p.m. or even 8 p.m. till 10 a.m. in the morning. And then the morning wake up and see that this kind of things, and I realize that amazing. This give, that is my, that hits more than caffeine in the morning. Like, your partner has worked
Mm,
10 hours, you should justify to the kind of dedication that he's putting in. So that is what, so whenever it comes to selecting a business partner, I would recommend everybody who's listening to us right now, that, you should find somebody who shares the same interest, same hunger, same passion, is very well motivated, and it's not is not here for the monetary terms. So when you're starting a
mm,
business, everybody, looks at it's a very lucrative business. We're gonna just invest few bucks and we're gonna make in millions, or things like that. So let's not look at things in terms of monetary. What experience you're gonna get through the journey, how much, it's gonna bring that, it quenches your thirst, basically your thirst for, whatever roadmap you have for your life. So, like, Yash has been into this, trying things out from a long back, before even I started. While he was very passionate about things from his school days, when he was in 11th and 12th. So that kind of, when I met him in the college and he told me his journey throughout, it kind of resonated with me, like how this guy is so passionate about it. And then I
mm.
believe, I think Yash would, if Yash would have been here, he would be able to tell that, what did he find things relevant to, pick me as a business partner. And so I found that he's very passionate, very motivated, and is not there for monetary things. So then I realized that, that okay, I can start something with him. And through the entire journey, we kept on motivating each other. One day I didn't feel like working, one day he didn't feel like working. It happens, you get tired of things. So, in
Yeah.
that process, I believe, I am very lucky to have him as a business partner. He's very motivated.
So I get very clearly, that Yash comes with the same amount of passion towards what you're doing and the cause. I also really like that you laid out, what your criteria would be to get a business partner and how that's valuable, and that's really insightful for all of us. The thing I am very curious about, however, is specifically, at the time when you're thinking, wait a minute, this person's this passionate, we could be a good team together, all of those things conceptually are happening in your mind. How did you start the conversation about let's be business partners? Because I know a lot of people in our community who have it in their minds that they want to have a business partner on the journey. They know the type of person, they even, some of them even know who they want as the business partner, but they're uncertain as to how to even start that conversation, right? So did you start it, did he start it, did it just happen together? Like, what was the actual process to say, yeah, cool, let's do this as business partners?
Me and Yash know each other now by from 10 years now. Like, these are like today, like, I would say we know each other from 10 years. So I met him in early days of my graduation, and when he used to tell all the things that he do, I used to be very much inspired with how he has not wasted his time. I won't say wasted, but how he has channelized his time and energy towards other thing. Meanwhile, we were all busy doing other things. So
Mm,
I kind of asked him, can you teach me all that? Because I have been, I like to keep myself present in the very moment. So if I am getting an opportunity to learn from somewhere, I would be ready to jump in. So when I got to know
mm,
that he has done really good in information security, and he has even trained the police force in his district. So when he was in 11th, he trained the police force in his district, which was kind of a cool thing. When you just entered your graduation days, it's a kind of a cool thing. So I said, how did you do it? Teach me about it. He tried teaching me. I couldn't along with it. And okay, then said that I'm working on SEO. I'll try to teach you how to create a blog. That back days, I'm talking about 2014 and 2015, blogging was a great hype back then. So he kind of started teaching me and everything. And I don't know, it never aligned in that way which he was maybe expecting. And one day I came up with the idea that I want to start my own apparel brand. However, I would require all these things in, because we were close. And I'm talking about the time 6 years post that. So somewhat in
Right.
2019, I shared my idea with him, and he said that you would require some marketing segments, some SEO, and the amalgamation of all these things. And I said, okay, okay, I have to do a research about it. And he said, I would be happy to jump in, and we can create something together. And I said, oh, amazing. Well, let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay. So what it sounds like, and this is very different to what I thought earlier. So thanks for clarifying. It sounds like you got to know him during college. 4, 5, 6 years have passed. You'll have been friends, kept in touch, and then this type of big move happened. So in your case, it was
Yes,
a lot of
yes.
nurturing the relationship, and then it flowering, which I think actually gives me an insight into how, I mean, we all know this, but it's nice to get a reminder how important it is to nurture these relationships, because you don't know what
Amazing.
it's going to turn into, right? 5 or 6 years later, which is really cool.
So we were studying
So please.
together throughout this all time. So from the graduation to the masters, we were together in because we both were doing the same course. So we were together, and we were studying together. And then we realized that okay, then that's it.
And I want to know now, I want you to be as honest and crass as you can. Okay.
Okay,
I'm
I'm nervous.
sure there are loads of great things about working with a business partner, that motivation you talked about, etc. But surely there are some bits that are tricky to navigate with a business partner, because it's not just you, it's not just your decisions. You've got to talk about stuff before making decisions. So what are the trickiest parts of working with a co-founder as opposed to working alone? I know all of the good stuff. I want to know a little bit about what's not quite amazing, or what's a bit tricky working with a co-founder.
So I think over the course of these 3 years, I found nothing of that as such tricky. We do have clashes of opinion back to back, about certain things. I think which happens when two people, because as I said, we both share the same kind of vision. So there are, very less likely chances to happen when it comes to decision making. But
Mm,
we honor each other's decision very much. So Yash handles the marketing part and the accounting part, and the brand strategies. What next to be done, what next to be done. So I kind of trust him very much about it. So if he's saying, Ankita, from the accounts point of view, this should not happen. So I just tell him the severity of the situation, that we need to get this done. And if he still says it can't happen from the account's point of view, then it doesn't happen. Because I know whatever he's handling it very efficiently. Similarly, when something
mm,
related to managing everything in the workspace, I tell him that, Yash, this is the scenario that has to be done. And he just give me an
mm,
opinion about it, that Ankita, it should be done in this way, or it can be done in that way. And I say, no, it has to be done in this particular way. And then he honors it,
mm,
because he know that if you have segregated the divisions, let them lead. As I would say, hero products in our domain, he tells me, Ankita, it won't work. I say, no, let
mm,
me take care of it. I know it will work. And he says, okay. And then couple of days later, he comes and says, Ankita, you were so right about it. It is working for us. It is really working. And I didn't even think for a moment that it will work for us. And it is working. So, so from throughout the entire journey, it kind of supports how you should respect your partner's opinion. So if they are
mm.
handling a segment, give them the full authority. If you have some inputs about it, do give. He gives a lot of inputs about things that he's not handling, and I do take care of his inputs as well. But then the final call is in my hand when it is about my segment, and when it's about his
Mm,
segment, the final call is in his hand. So I think that avoided a lot of disputes between the
mm, mm.
founders.
That's great. And did you all just did this process, because it sounds really healthy the way you're doing it? I especially like that it's not just, okay, this is this person's department, leave them to it. It is, this is this person's responsibility. I will still candidly share my opinions if I disagree, but at the end of the day, it's their call. So it's a very healthy way of making decisions as a pair of co-founders. Did this process naturally happen, or have you had to be very conscious about, okay, this is how we're going to manage it, or because you know each other, just it's been happening organically without much effort?
We both thought about starting this brand. So as I said, we started it from scratch. We were in our masters, and we were studying back then, so we didn't have access to much of the capital. So we started with a very minimal amount. It was just a 5-digit amount that we started, and it came from all our savings. So
Mm,
when we couldn't afford the team back then, when we sort of created a pie chart of the things required while starting a business, whether it's a customer support segment, marketing segment, account segment, and the other things, the managing and everything. So we kind of like, okay, I'll take care of this thing, you take care of this thing, I'll take care of this thing, based on expertise.
right.
And organically it kind of moved in that direction only. So when the team when we started, when the business of course grew, the team also grew. So we were like, okay, this I have this employer in this particular segment, and since I am leading that segment, I am leading that employee, I'm training that employee, I'm managing that employee. So it kind of all, we have always kept this parallel things, and it kind of worked till end. I mean, till today it's still working in this
Mhm.
linear pattern.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that seems really clear. And yeah, I'm really congrats to both of you on not just, I think, starting the business and growing it, but I feel like it's an achievement by itself when you're able to share the dream and share the vision and get people so aligned on the journey. So that's really exciting that both of you have found that sort of rhythm and it's working for you.
Right.
One of the things uh, you know, I do a little bit of research, obviously, on everybody who we interview in these podcasts, and one of the things that stuck out for me, and I'm gonna sort of get you to jump in a time machine and rewind all the way back, maybe even before college days, is you've called out in different spaces that it's not like you had an easy sort of childhood and a luxurious childhood. So I want to know, can you tell me a little bit about the fact that you had a fairly tough time when you were, growing up with things not just handed over to you? Do you find that helps you as a business owner? Do you find it's tricky to manage? How has that informed how you are as a leader today?
Yeah, thank you for calling me a leader. I still feel, that I am still not there where I see myself. I vision myself, and I think that I should not settle at this age. I'm very young to settle right now. So
Sure.
I am definitely leading towards the way where I envision myself. So yeah, you're right about this. So of course, like I do not come from a business background, and there is nobody in my family who is into entrepreneurship. I mean, now some of people have started it though, but no, back then I'm talking about my early teen years. Nobody is nobody was in entrepreneurship, no, and very few are in the business segments. So we all come from this mindset that you have to get into the college, then grab some good placements, and get hired with a good tech giant. Or because I come from a information technology IT background, so like you have to get hired with a good tech giant, and then that's how your career seems
Mhm.
the way it should be. So back then, my parents had their fair share of struggles. So as it came in more, I would say. So back in 2015, there came a time when my family was going through some crunch, and I had to manage a lot of things with my, just to support my dad, because me and my sister, have always been, it's like we don't want to be somebody, like a burden on our family. So we were all the time feeling
Mm,
like, okay, it's like we have to be independent. We have to, do something even along with the college, whether it's giving tuitions to people, whether it's working as a content creator, or the content writing and all. I'm not talking about the influencer content creator, but back then the content
sure.
writing and all. So we both had that kind, me and my sister, we both had that kind of thing in mind. Okay, we have to do something to support my father. So in 2015, I started working with a travel agency. So my schedule was very hectic, I would say, because it was a night shift. So I used to, wake up like uh, 11 a.m. in the morning, go to my college by 12:30. My college was 20 kilometers away, far. So, used to take a
Jeez.
lot of traveling time, especially in Delhi. So then I used to, my college used to be like, the shift used to be over by 5 p.m. I have to come home by 6. My cab was waiting for me already, will be waiting for me around 6:30. And then my
Mm,
shift starts at 9, because from my home to Gurgaon is 40 kilometers, where my the office I was working
jeez.
in. Then the office used to start at 9. The shift used to end at 6:30. I used to be home by 7:30 a.m. in the morning, sleep for 4 hours, 11 a.m. back to my college schedule.
That's
So
completely crazy. So
yeah,
hold on.
I
I'm sorry, I have a bunch of follow-ups. Firstly, that's crazy, and congratulations for just being able to do that or even think about doing that. I can't even think about doing that, let alone do it. How long did you do, like, for how long was that your schedule where you were doing these crazy days?
So it kind of lasted for 4 months, because
Okay.
I had to support my family back then in that situation scenario that was happening across. And if I wouldn't have, I had to do it because my sister's education was reliant on that thing. So I had to do it.
Wow.
So
Sure.
I had to support my father in this, because if I wouldn't, the scenarios would have been very different for my sister right now. So
Mm,
it's it kind of went for good 4 months. And then of course my semester and exams came in, and then I had to, you know like had to put my resignation down there, that I cannot do it anymore. But I would say that
sure.
was a very great experience. It gave me a lot of exposure. In 2015, a 19-year-old is doing a night shift in Gurgaon while studying in Janakpuri, which is 20 kilometers from my home. Gurgaon was 40 kilometers my home. So one direction was there, one direction from was there. So
Mm,
it kind of gave a lot of exposure about the surroundings, how things work in the MNCs, how the corporate life is. And if um if I realize this thing, whatever things that I'm able to do with my business, some of that knowledge, some of that exposure came from the job that I took in 2015. So how to handle the, because I was working for a travel agency, so how to greet the customers, how to handle them, how to handle the customers who are disputing about things. And in the early days of my starting a brand, it kind of helped me in that way, because I was handling them as well. So even today, if a very disputing case come across, my employees are like, ma'am, she's saying this, she's saying that, how to handle her. And then eventually nothing eventually, it all gets settled up. And I
mm,
feel that I learned all this from the job I took in 2015. So I
sure.
believe, I know, like, we guys are young, we are in our 20s and 30s. So when you are in your 20s and 30s, take those risks. take um,
Mm,
take every opportunity that life throws at you. Every take every curveball that comes in your way, and whatever things you need to do to get pass through it. Take everything, take every opportunity.
mm,
You're very young, we are very young. We have that energy in us right now, that I'm not supportive here of the fact that I was sleeping for only 4 hours and 24 hours and working for the 20 hours. I'm not saying that was a healthy thing to do. It was situations when I had to do it. But we are very young. We can definitely have a passive source of income while we are studying. It's not necessary that, okay, we are studying, let's just be settled with the kind of atmosphere we are
mm,
right in right now. Just uh, be open to every opportunity. it is going to help you in future only. It is going to help you, whatever the vision that you have for us. I mean, that's how people quote it. Nothing that you have learned from your entire journey goes in vain. Whatever you have
Sure.
learned in certain point of time, will there will come a time when you will realize that, okay, this I learned back then and it's now helping me right now. So
Hmm.
take every opportunity. I would say to everybody listening to me right now, don't think of what people will think of me, why I'm working along with my college. People will think that, I'm this is they might have their mindset about certain things. Don't think about people, think about yourself. You want to do something, do it. Whether
Hmm.
you're working as a whether you're working in night shift in another company, while you're in your college days, while you're having any passive source of income, giving tuition out to people, just do it. It will help you, it will definitely help you in one way or the another, and it comes around, everything comes around.
Thank you so much, by the way, for sharing this part of your story. It's actually very, very inspirational. Um, I think obviously there is this fine balance that we all have to find between that whole work hard and go crazy and hustle, and the entire other extreme, which is, hey, take care of yourself, etc. But I think what you called out there is so important, which is there will be situations at which you have to go on one extreme or the other, right? It's
Definitely.
not like all of the time in your life you're going to have one way of sort of living your life. So I love that you embrace that situation. Now you're embracing a new one, and I guess that's the real thing that keeps us going, right? That humans are adaptable and we can change. So that you're doing that is thanks so
Counterbalancing
much
is
for
very important.
that. Yeah. Um, one of the things I was reading about your business is that, if I've got it right, and I still don't know whether I've read it right because it sounds crazy to me, but am I right in saying that you and the business Trendy puts out 5 or 10 new products every week? Is that correct?
5 and 10 are minimum. We sometimes go about 30 new products in a week.
Yeah,
And
that to me is just completely crazy. And I think I'm starting to now make sense of how you can move at that pace, because you've told me about what your schedule was like for those 4 months. And now it's suddenly making sense that that's the only way that you could get to this level, right? So, can you tell me about how do you manage the pace at which you're moving? Like, does it feel like it's getting out of control and getting chaotic, or do you all thrive at this pace? Is it a bit of both? How do you move this fast? Because it's tough to maintain that type of energy.
so it's not week every week. Sometimes it all depends upon the changing season, since we are in apparel category. So when the season of we'd say that when the summer season is ending and you're going to heading towards spring and winters, then you have to kind of stop that 5 to 10 products a week kind of pace, because that would not make
Sure.
sense. You can't put in summer clothing in the end of the summer kind of thing. So while talking about the pace, so you have to formulate a lot of things around it, and it's like, if it has to be done, it has to be done. So since the day one, if I maintain a Trello board. So if on my Trello I have mentioned that this thing should be done by the end of this date, then it start keep giving me the notifications about it, and kind of nudges about it, and I'm very particular about it. So I follow my Trello board very religiously. So I'm like, okay, if I have to upload 3 products a day, I have to do that. I will take care of it no matter what. So this rhythm keeps on. When you are very, it's called discipline. So when you follow that discipline for a certain amount of time, it becomes a rhythm, it becomes a part of your day to day activities, and that's how you keep up with the pace. So I don't think when
Got it.
you, yeah, so when you have like jotted down somewhere that I need to do this in my day to day task, it becomes a part of your day to day task for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and it's natural. I love that you said this, because this is how we operate at Jigsaw as well. We have this little term we call wins for the day, which
Okay.
is that every single day, the day starts with, what are the wins that we want to accomplish today, so that everybody is clear on, these are the things. If we're able to do this by the end of the day, it means we're winning. right? And so, yeah, we used to use Trello before, we use Notion now, but the premise is all the same, right? Make sure that you are aware of what you need to do to get that clarity. So
Right,
I'm
right.
glad something that simple can help you, get far over a period of time.
You can also use Monday board as well for your all the employees. It will also have that all the wins of the day and the task of the day, and it will also keep them in the check. So that also helps. That tool is also very useful. I
Sure.
keep the Monday board for my staff. Trello is for me, Monday is for my staff.
Got it. I think there are so many. There's been an explosion of these tools recently. And as long as you identify which one works for you, how it works, and I think the main thing is not to go and say, oh, here's a shiny new tool, but actually commit to the process, right? If you
Right.
commit to the process, then, these tools can work for you. Um, Ankita, I have a sort of, I guess, a final question for you before, and after that, we're just going to play a little, a little rapid fire we call Jaldi or Jigsaw. So we'll round up with that. But before that, I have one question for you,
Okay.
which is that I know when I was finding out a little bit about you and I got a little note, one of the things that you talked about is that y'all are working towards a dream of building a unicorn company, right? And you're moving one step forward and getting close to it every day. I think my question is most people, when they have ventures like this, however passionate they are about their why, it's very tough for them to say out loud that this is a big dream that they have because they're scared to say it out loud. Because if they say it out loud, it makes it real, it makes people judge you against that. What gives you and Yash the courage to say out loud, we want to be a unicorn company and that's what we're working towards? How does that help you, or does that feel natural for you? Does it feel intimidating, or is that what excites you and keeps you all moving forward?
So Rashid, one thing that I would like to point out here is that first of all, you have to create a shift in your life. The people that are surrounding you, they want you to win. They should the people. So I would just I am very particular about the people around me. And if I feel that somebody in my life, whether it's professionally or personally, is not serving the purpose, is not meeting me halfway in my journey, whatever the relation I share with them, I immediately distance myself from them. So when I talk about my relatives, people say relatives are for gaslighting your parents to, this is what every reel you come across. My relative came, she gaslighted my father, and my father is behind my life for this and that. My relatives are super loving, super supportive. They want not just me, my sister, and all the other siblings. They want us to they want us to win. They want to see us doing great in our life. So whether my relatives are, especially my dad's side of relatives, they're super amazing. And that is the reason why their all children are doing good in their life as well. And my friends, my circle around me, they all want to see me win. My sister, she is my biggest inspiration and she is like a motivation to me. She is like, no baby, if it's not working for you, doesn't matter, sleep on it, next day I'm sure you will be able to take care of it. So similar, my business partner is kind of a similar in this pattern. So you have to create that shift in your life where people around you should have that thing. They should see you winning. They should have that thing. Okay, and it happens when you are that person. You attract what you are. So I wish the same for the people around me. So I believe that these are the kind of people that are around me. So when I talked about my vision with my family and I talked about the vision with my relatives, they were not very judgmental about it. Like, you're just 27. How can you think about building a unicorn at this age? Work under somebody? Or, no, they were like, I am sure you can do it. I am sure if you require any help, let us know. My friends are like, my best friends are like, bro, we know you can do it. You are capable enough of doing it. Go ahead and do it. So when the people, it's not just one, when you say, no, okay, I build this. No, nobody talks about the people standing behind them in their back. like pushing them forward. Look, okay, if it's, if it's you're inclining a mountain, they keep on pushing you towards it. So they want you to win. When people behind you want them to win, you have to do it. So I
Mm.
never feel the, whatever my visions are, it's very intimidating or very judgment, like I might be judged for building a unicorn, because I know there are a lot of people who believe in me, that I can win this, and they're like, okay, and then I'm like, okay, I am building a unicorn, I'll be there, maybe not two, maybe not three, and I know if I will not be able to, but because first of all, I know I'll be able to do it, but if hypothetically I'm not able to do it, I know people around me will be there to support me when I fall, saying, okay, you tried your best, you give our best, maybe not today, but maybe next time you will be able to do it. So not this or maybe that, you would definitely do it. So this is what an advice I would give to everybody around you. People talk about the 5 a.m. clubs of, that when you talk about
Mm.
the getting success things to get successful, the 5 a.m. club, the cold shower thing, read 10 pages of a book a day, listen to the
Yeah.
podcast. What would you do of all those podcasts and getting a 5 a.m. in the morning when people around you are, bringing negativity and all the bad luck to you? What would you do? 5 a.m. will not help you in the morning when your mind is not clear. So
Sure.
just, create a space around you where people want to see you win. So when people around you want to see you win, they wish all the good luck to you. They bring a very positive aura in your life. In the life, you would definitely achieve what you want to. Maybe it will take time for you for a couple of, things. It might take time, but you will definitely be there where you vision yourself. So before even you go and follow the 5 a.m. thing and everything, just create an aura around you where people are having very positive mindset, and it only starts within. So first you wish them for people, then the people will wish them for you, and that's how the
Mm.
journey is. Then you can definitely follow the 5 a.m. club.
Thanks so much, Ankita, for sharing that. I think it's really nice, and to put it, I guess, a bit crassly, thanks for like cutting through the bullshit and just calling out, okay, this is the one thing that really to you feels like the main reason that's going to propel you in the world of business, and has been propelling you so far across your life as well, right? People, keeping the right people around you, who are cheering you on, being positive. I think we only get reminded of this stuff every now and then when we see a reel about it, as opposed to knowing it and being conscious about it all the time, that the people around you really create that type of atmosphere and energy in which you thrive, right? And I'm a complete believer in this as well. That's why with Jigsaw as well, earlier we used to do a lot of one-on-one type stuff. And then we transitioned, because of this belief in exactly what you talked about, we transitioned entirely to being a community and bringing the community together so that we can cheer each other on, help each other out. And I remember I went on a trek once, and I was thinking about the same thing, that this trek would have been so boring, and I wouldn't have got to the end of the peak of the mountain if I didn't have this great group of people with me. And I think it's very similar across your life as well. So thanks so much for sharing that. I'm a big believer in that, and very clearly from this conversation, a big believer that someday you'll hit your unicorn goal as well. So all the best. We're going to be
Thank you
cheering for
so
you.
much. Thank you
Um,
so much. And one
Ankita,
thing
I'd
I
love
would
to.
like to add in this as well, like, when people say I'm cutting that certain people off from my life because you're not serving the purpose, and
Hmm,
I would, one thing I would say, we all are fighting our own battles. Maybe
hmm,
at this point of time I might not serve you the purpose that you are looking for. But if we are friends, might not serve you the purpose we are looking for. But you should distance yourself. You should not cut those people off, because you should, very clear about your boundaries, that see, the this is happening, you are not serving me the purpose. Once you are very much sorted about your life, you can connect back in. We can, like, we can take this forward. But right now, whatever is kind of aura that you're creating around my life is not serving me in the way I want it to be, and then you can move ahead. Because people talk about cut those toxic people out of your life and everything on the reels and all. Do not cut them off, because everybody is fighting their own battle. Let them get them things sorted for them first, and then we can always start from where you left. So that is
yeah.
one thing that I would definitely like to bring it forward when people talk about creating a mind shift in life about the people that surrounding them. People are like, okay, I've cut the negative people off, I've ghosted them, everything. Ghosting is a bad karma, don't do it. So, it's a very important that you should never cut people off. Just distance yourself, focus on your vision. And again, we are back to the square one where we were like, it should serve your why. It's not the why of the business, it's the why of your personal being as well. It should serve the why. If it's not serving the why, let it be.
Thanks for calling that out. I'd love to maybe we've talked about a lot of deep stuff. Let's lighten the mood a little bit. I'd just like to wrap up this podcast with a quick game of Jaldi with Jigsaw with you. So basically, rapid fire, no major thinking, just instinctive answers if you can for the next 7, 8 questions. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, sure. I'll try to.
Cool. Let's start Jaldi with Jigsaw. So, question one is what do you think is your superpower as a business leader?
So I would say I am not emotional as well as emotional. So I think of, I do not take things very lightly as well as I take things very lightly, which is kind of my superpower. I do not let it, hit me and let me pause for a think. Okay, I need to think and all. So I'm emotional as well as not very emotional.
Got it. Nice balance. And let's move away from businessy stuff for a little bit. What is the latest show that you binge watched, or a podcast, or a show, or a movie that you've watched and enjoyed?
So yesterday night I just completed the series Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard on Netflix.
Okay.
Though I followed the whole trial when it happened, but yeah, I wanted to see how they have concluded it in a documentary kind of thing. The podcast,
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Sadia Khan about mental health and the well-being and everything, and then Frankie Lee, and then I am very I'm a fan of Simon Sinek and how he brings Apple in every conversation and kind of give us a great example about it. So yeah, that's about it.
Got it. If you weren't running this business right now, what do you think you'd be doing?
I would definitely want to run a food business someday. I want to open
Okay.
my, restaurant someday. It's a fine dine, should be a
Nice.
fine dine restaurant. I'm already working on it. Let's see, maybe 1 or 2 years.
Of
If
course you
we,
are.
down the line, we'll definitely be in that
Great. How do you switch off from work?
gym.
Okay.
I cannot mention. I mean, I can go all day, whole day talking about how gym is good for your mental health, for your physical well-being. If I'm not at work, I'm at gym.
Got it. Who is your biggest cheerleader?
My sister, she is my biggest cheerleader. If I am feeling sad about something, she's like, baby, chuck it, let's go party, we can think about it tomorrow. And the next morning I wake up, I already have the solution to 90% of my problem. So my sister is my
Nice.
biggest cheerleader.
Awesome. What do you enjoy the most about being your own boss?
The freedom that comes with it, the freedom of decision making, time variations. Sometimes I'm working 8 hours a day, sometimes 2 hours a day. So yeah, I think the freedom of, I think we all measure success as a freedom to do things. It should not be you're called successful if you're giving a 12-hour a day thing. If you're giving even
Yeah.
2 hours and being very productive about it, it's a success.
Got it. And finally, what's the most draining part of being your own boss?
There are a lot of uh, draining parts. One of them is when you have to be very impulsive with some of the decisions based on the sensitivity of them, and you have to like, okay, it's either a hit or a miss, I have to definitely jump in. So
Sure.
that's very draining sometimes.
Got it. Thank you. You killed it with Jaldi with Jigsaw. I think the energy drink definitely. No, great stuff. And Ankita, again, just wanted to say thanks so much for sharing about not just your journey as an entrepreneur, but as a co-founder, your journey before that, overall, what's been helping you. And like I said, we are rooting for Trendy and hoping to see it on the unicorn list very soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's great to hear. And I am really, I'm really grateful for the opportunity that, that the conversation we had. And it was really great knowing the things that are happening at Jigsaw. I was in conversation with Adrian back then, and I realized how good you guys are doing. It's amazing that you guys are really killing it. And I'm really rooting for that as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. We're Jigsaw Thinking, home of the self-starters. If you're interested in being your own boss, head to jigsawthinking.com or drop us a DM at Jigsaw Thinking on Instagram.